Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked in on one of your teammates? More than a, are you good, or check their Instagram story. I'm talking about looking them in the eye and really asking them how they're doing. If it took you more than 2 seconds to think about the last time you did that, this video's for you. I'm part of something called the Collegiate Balance Project. And what we do is have real conversations with real athletes about what it means to be a student athlete. Not just on the field, but in the rest of your life too. Today, I want to talk about one thing and one thing only: peer support. Checking in on people next to you and why it matters way more than most of us realize. Here's the thing about athlete culture. We are trained, literally trained, to push through, don't show weakness, and stay focused. Be tough. And there is value in that. That's the mindset to win games. But it also makes us really bad at asking for help, or even worse, at noticing when someone else needs it. We share locker rooms, buses, meals, practice reps. We spend more time with our teammates than almost anyone else in our lives. And somehow we can still miss it when someone is completely falling apart on the inside. I've been in that locker room. I know what it looks like to have a teammate who's smiling at practice and completely drowning everywhere else. And I know what it feels like to not know what to say, or you just say nothing at all. That silence is what I want to talk about today, because I think we can do better than that as a whole in our athlete community. So when I say check on a teammate, I don't mean you have to become their therapist. I don't mean you have to have a 2-hour heart-to-heart after every tough game. That's not realistic. And honestly, that's not even what most people need. What I mean is this: notice. Take the time and notice. That's it. Just start by noticing. Is someone quieter than usual? Did they skip a team dinner? Are they killing it in practice, but you can just tell something is off? That gut feeling you get as a teammate. You know them. Trust that feeling. Athletics is a lot about trust. And then you just say something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be deep. It can be as simple as, hey, I've been thinking about you. You doing all right? That's it. 7 words. Because here's what that does. It tells someone that they're not invisible, that someone is in their corner and actually sees them. And sometimes that is the entire difference. Not a hotline, not a counselor, just you, their teammate, saying, I see you, I got your back. That's all they need. All right, I'm here with 2 Seattle U athletes, and I want to ask them, how important is the mental side to sports compared to the physical side?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty important. As a piece that maybe doesn't get talked about that often. I feel like people can get caught up in the results a lot, and the results are going to fluctuate up and down throughout a season. And I feel like if you're mentally caught up in the results, then you're also going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster season.
And with our other Seattle U athlete, how important is it to check up on your teammates and see how they're doing?
It's everything. Just our brothers, we always got to take care of each other. So if one person's not right mentally, we're probably not all going to work together as well as we should. So that's what I got.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I don't want to make it weird, or what if I say the wrong thing? Or honestly, I've got my own stuff going on. I can barely keep my head above water. And I hear that. That's real. But here's what I've realized. The fear of saying the wrong thing has kept a lot of us from saying anything at all. And saying nothing, well, that's its own message. It says, I didn't notice, or worse, I didn't even care to notice. And you don't want your teammate thinking about you like that. We also have this culture in sports where everyone is supposed to look like they have it all together. Like, struggle is something that an athlete needs to hide. But that's not toughness. That's just isolation with a good PR. Real toughness is being the person who checks in, being the person who creates enough safety on your team that when someone is struggling, they actually feel like they can say something. Be that guy that they can say something to. All right, we're here with another athlete at Seattle U, and how important is the mental side of sports compared to the physical?
I think the mental side of sports is equally as important as the physical side. You have to be physically prepared and mentally prepared for anything that happens on the field and off the field.
That kind of culture, it doesn't just happen. Someone has to build it. So why not you be the one? Think about a time when someone stopped you. Teammate, coach, friend, family member. Okay, they stopped you and asked how you truly felt. And how did that make you feel? This is a baseball player at Seattle U. T-Jack, how do you feel when a teammate or coach checks up on you and asks how your mental state is?
I'd say it's a good feeling. The family dynamic that sports brings to mental health is a good thing. I feel like the ebbs and flows of a long season can definitely get to some people mentally. So I think teammates and coaches checking up on each other is always a good thing, and it's a family bond that is hard to replicate outside of sports.
That feeling, that sense of being seen and not being alone. That's what we're here talking about, trying to create. Not just for one person, for a whole team. Because here's the thing. What happens when one person starts doing this consistently, other people follow. It's the trickle effect. The culture shifts. It becomes normal to check in. It becomes normal to say, I'm not okay, without the fear that it'll affect your spot on the roster or how coaches see you. And when that culture exists, your team performs better. And I mean that literally. Teams with high psychological safety, where people feel safe to be honest, make better decisions, communicate better, handle pressure better. Mental wellness isn't separate from athletic performance. It is an athletic performance, and it starts with how you treat the person next to you, your teammate, who you're out on that field with, going to war with. So here's what I'm asking you to do. This week, not someday, not next week, this week, I want you to reach out to a teammate. Pick someone who's been on your mind recently, or maybe it's that person who is usually the one doing the reaching out. Pull them aside, send them a text, talk to them during practice. It doesn't have to be long. I just want you to let them know you're thinking about them and that you're there for them if they need someone to talk to. That's the whole challenge. And then I want you to come down to the comments and tell me, who's the teammate that always has your back? Tag them. Let me see it. Because sometimes the people that hold others up need to hear it the most. So use the hashtag, check your teammate, share this with your teammates, group chats, and start this conversation. Let's bring a new culture to sports. Mental wellness is a team effort. You already know how to show up for your teammates on the field. Now this is just doing that everywhere else too. If this video resonates with you, please share it. Not for the views, but there's a teammate somewhere who may need to hear this, and you can be the one to tell them. That's what the Collegiate Balance Project is all about. Not just talking about the mental wellness in its abstract, but actually doing something about it together. I'll see y'all in the next one.